everyone, and welcome to using Blackboard Announcements to increase student engagement. My name is Imfan Akpan, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share some knowledge with you. Currently, I'm an adjunct business faculty at Olive Harvey College, which is part of City Colleges of Chicago. So feel free to contact me via my email there, my cell phone. Please go to my YouTube page and subscribe. Please go to my YouTube page and subscribe and find the information there. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is my full name. Please follow me there as well. So let's get started. We're going to cover a couple of questions. So we're going to talk about what is engagement, why is engagement important, and then how, actually I use Blackboard to increase student engagement, how it helps me to really help my students to become more engaged in my courses. I teach business courses, mainly accounting courses, face-to-face, so not in an online setting or a blended setting. It's a face-to-face setting. So I wanted to go over some of the points and key resources that I use, and hopefully that'll help you as well. So what is engagement? I mean, we can Google and we can find many different definitions of engagement. One of my favorite is student engagement refers to the extent in which students actively participate in the learning process, goes over their willingness, actually their willingness, the need, desire to participate, to be successful in the course, and to contribute to the learning activities. I really think this is a great definition. Another definition of engagement, if we Google student engagement, we'll come up with many different definitions of engagement. What would you say engagement is for you, student engagement?
Well, I was actually just talking about student success and engagement.
Okay.
And for me, it's activate, and it's something that they get so excited about that they lose track of time because they're so interested in something. So I'd like to get them that engaged.
Okay, great, great. Do you teach face-to-face or online courses?
Oh, yeah.
Both?
Both, and hybrid, enhanced, yeah, all forms.
Okay, that's awesome. So I teach face-to-face courses,
Okay.
but I like to use the Blackboard system because it's designed for both face-to-face and for online and blended.
Yeah, I do that too when I teach face-to-face. I always use Blackboard or Moodle or D2L wherever I'm at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So for me, the key word for engagement is motivation. So when I think about engagement, I think about how can I motivate the students? How can I get them more involved in the learning process? Get them more involved in the material? How can I get them more involved in the course? More interested. We think about retention. Because students are they're motivated in the course, they're interested in the material, they're participating. That can increase retention. Students are more willing to stay in the course. I teach accounting, so a lot of students are really, they're nervous, a lot of them find it daunting. And so it's important to keep them engaged. It's also engagement, motivation can be a measure of classroom success. You have students engaged, they're interested, they're motivated, they're eager to learn. So you're doing your job as an instructor. And there's some statistics that show that the more motivated students are, the higher their grades. So with that motivation leads to success. So there's a correlation when we talk about motivating students. So the last portion is, and the key point is, how do I use the Blackboard announcements to increase engagement? what I like to do is I'm teaching a face-to-face course. I use the announcements. I do frequent posting. Frequent and scheduled posting of announcements. So what do I use in the announcements? Well, my course meets Mondays and Wednesdays. So what I like to do the day before the course, I post the slides, the lecture slides, so the students have the opportunity to take a look at that. So that's there. They can go to one place, to the announcements feature, and they can see the slides. Also, I even use it to post job notifications and also to give feedback. So I'm a firm believer in acknowledgement and feedback, or giving positive reinforcement. So let's say class is on Monday, right after class, I'm on there giving a good job or pointing out how the class as a whole did a good job covering a specific area or topic. So I found a lot of success with that as well. I also have videos that I use. So I have a YouTube account. So that's what we're videotaping right now, because this will be on my YouTube account. And then what I do is I recap the week's material. So I do recorded video PowerPoint slides, which I'll show you in a little bit. So I have on the announcements, I post that, then the students can go in and they can look at a recap of key points for the course. So that really helps as far as some of the students, they like to. Sure.
I was just curious, do you video like in classes then, and you would actually send them to let them see you talking about the subject area before the class, or just the recap?
I do the recap.
Okay.
And what I do PowerPoint. So I make a PowerPoint slide or slideshow with audio.
Okay.
And then I upload that to YouTube, and then I create a link to that in the Blackboard Learning. So I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll even record videos with my cell phone just to give some feedback and say how great the class was as well.
Yeah.
So my ultimate goal is to keep my presence, and also to work on keeping the students motivated, and then touch on various learning styles. So I want to be present with the students outside of the course, because I thought about it, my class meets twice a week for an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm thinking, well, how can I stay in touch with my students outside of the class and motivate them, give them mediums to cover material that are relevant to today. The other thing I didn't mention, many of the students, they have the app. I don't know if you've seen the Blackboard app.
Yep.
So majority of them have the app on their phone, so when I'm sending an announcement, they get a notification instantly of whatever it is. Whether it's, I'm giving some feedback, I'm posting slides, there's videos there. So it helps. It helps to stay in touch with the students as well. It creates a positive tone. So I like to be very, uplifting, upbeat, motivating. Like I said, I teach accounting. It's not the most glamorous of subjects. So, I like to foster a really positive tone with the students and just keep them interested. We've touched on some of this. So, again, we talked about timely reinforcement of the concepts. I do that with the feedback. And that's really just posting, letting them know you did a good job on covering a certain topic that we were looking at. And typically I choose the most difficult topics to focus on when I make my postings in the announcement. And I try to schedule it, like I said, right after class. So after they leave the class, they're getting an announcement from me, and that reinforces that right away. Also, it creates an asynchronous environment. So even though, as I mentioned, I'm teaching a face-to-face course, it has an online or distance learning feel, because the students can go in and they can watch videos, they can, at any time they can get the lecture slides, they can view that. So there's a lot of material that's in the shell for them to access at any time. So that really empowers the student as far as the learning aspect of the course. The benefits for me as an instructor, you have a constant medium to stay in touch with the students. I don't have to wait until Mondays and Wednesdays when I go to the class for that hour and 45 minutes to stay in touch with the students. If I want to say something, let them know, make sure you're working on the homework, or if students email me or call me that they've been having issues with certain problems, I can send an announcement, I can put up slides, I can do things to help them along the way. I can remind them of quizzes, so there's a lot of opportunity to stay really in front of the student outside of the classroom. And again, that fosters that motivation. And the motivation is what I consider to be that engagement portion. So it increases presence, we touched on that. And empowers students. And this is a little snapshot of what I use. And I actually have my shell up. I'll show you. Any questions so far?
Can I just ask a quick question? So I teach a lot of online classes, and I try to send a lot of messages. I just find that there's a certain kind of student that finds that irritating. Do you find that a little bit, or is there something I can do to maybe lessen that? So I will remind them of assignment due dates. I'll remind them, okay, make sure you look at the rubric, make sure you do this. I'll reinforce some things, but there's some students do find that really irritating. Those emails and Blackboard postings.
Well, so you send mostly emails to the students, or is it you posting an announcement?
I can post an announcement that also will be emailed to them, yeah.
Right. I really find most of the students, they enjoy that, but then you have students, again, so I probably say 2/3 of my students, they have the app, and they're using the app.
Yeah.
Then I have a group of students, they check their actual student email, so they like the emails, but they don't like that constant contact like you mentioned. And then I have another group, they just log in, normally to check their grades, and then they'll view the announcements. So it's kind of up to them on how they would receive the contact.
Okay.
In my world. And you said you have an online class.
These are online students that would, and I think most of them, because I surveyed them, I think most of them really like getting the emails, and they really like hitting the due date reminders and that sort of thing. But sometimes I just worry that I'm bombarding them too much.
Right. And another thing I did was I did a survey. I asked for student feedback and asked what they really liked. So, for example, in this particular course, the students, they really like my videos. So they really like the videos, so I make sure that I'm making videos. So I already have the YouTube account, but I make sure that I'm making videos specific for this course for the students, because that's what they're really interested in. They like reviewing those, especially over the key points. So I would say maybe ask for feedback and find out what the student population is interested in.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Well, I covered this earlier. This is my contact information. That's my YouTube account. I'm also on Instagram. You can email me as well. So I'm pretty big on the technology piece as far as the